Hello, my name is Mihael Zgank. I come from Slovenia originally. 2016 I represented Slovenia on Olympics in Rio. 2017 I became the first male in Slovenian history to get a world medal. I was silver in Budapest. After that I got an offer to represent Turkey in Olympics, so I took the offer. They gave me their passport, and 1 year after I was already representing Turkey. I fought for Turkey in Tokyo Olympics, where I got 5th, and I fought also in Paris Olympics. And I also won European Championship for Turkey in 2019. So I got quite a few results also in the IGF tournaments. I got into judo because I felt I was a bit weaker. I wanted to learn self-defense, and how they showed us judo at that time was as part of self-defense. And when I was in first grade of primary school, I was 7, they started teaching judo as a self-defense in my school. I saw they were playing a lot of games also, so I joined firstly as like a fun sport. I really enjoyed it. I still do enjoy it, but that was one of the first times I met with judo. I think if you want to be an Olympic player, you have to have a different kind of drive that gets you there in the first place, and that varies from each athlete, you know. It's not, you're not going to be able to achieve or not be able to come to Olympics if you don't have the drive inside, because you have to be, I think the main difference is you have to be crazy. You have to be crazy a bit more than everybody else, to wake up earlier, to do more trainings, to let all the fun activities out, not hang out with your friends, not get drunk during the weekend, don't travel for fun somewhere, but dedicate all of your youth practically for training. So I think this a bit of craziness is what separates, I think, the Olympians from the normal athletes. No, that's good. I was thinking a lot about this in my career, and at early stages of my career, I loved winning more. It was a lot about, everything was about winning. But once I got the world medal, once I got successful, once I got the reputation, I was, for a long period, more scared of losing than like I was happy or searching for the win, you know. So it was a transition in the middle, and it was not nice. It was not nice. It was better when I was chasing the wins than I was scared of losing.
Yeah, it's better.
This was also one of the strongest lessons I got in my career. I had opponents that were weaker, and I underestimated them, and I lost, you know. And I had opponents that looked stronger on the outside, but it turned off on the mat that I'm a lot stronger than him. So I learned during my career that you have to be kind of a stoic, you know, not think who's stronger, who's worse, like just go on the mat and let the mat speak for itself, you know. Yeah, one of the favorite and the hardest match was semifinals in the World Championship 2017. I was explaining that I did a lot of training for that medal. I was like dedicating, okay, all my life you're preparing for a big medal like that. But the year after Olympics 2016, I set a goal, and I worked like 3 times, 4 times per day. Sometimes I added visualizations also. I was preparing in my head all kinds of circumstances, even the best circumstances, how I'd win everything by ippon. And I also visualized how the bad circumstances can happen. So for example, I did a visualization that I'm going to have the worst referee at that time, and I visualized also one opponent who was at that time was Kukol from Serbia. He was a tall opponent that I lost maybe 6-7 times in my career previous to the World Championship. And I imagined in my head that this is going to be the case, that I'm going to fight against him, that I'm going to have the referee there, and you know, even the thought of that like give me goosebumps. I don't want that because I hate her. I don't hate her, but I don't like her. I know she always bad decisions, and I don't want him because he's really uncomfortable judo, and I lost 7 times with him. And what happened was semi-finals in the World Championship. It was the same setup as I visualized in my head. You know, I was fighting against him, and the referee was her. So I went over this situation in my head so many times that when I step on the mat, I already won in my head. I was there 10 times, 20 times already visualizing this moment. So I was not nervous. I knew I was here. I knew I'm going to win. So it was something that I was preparing for. And that's why it's also one of my favorite matches. It's the toughest. I was preparing the most. But it's also have a really good story, and I think it's really inspirational also for a lot of athletes, and I think it's a good way to prepare also for big competitions. Oh, good question. My perfect kid. I would never pick. I think a lot of coaches and teachers make this mistake that they find these talented kids. They're like, oh, he's talented, and then they tell him this all the time, you're talented. And then I think what happens is they don't work as hard as they should. I prefer the hard worker. That's the perfect kid for me, you know. I always try to encourage hard work, you know, and I see him, for example, do 2 extra uchikomis. I encourage him, and I always believe in this kind of athletes more than the ones that show up here, no training, throw crazy throws, like 5 different variations, you know. Okay, I think short term this is maybe good, but for long term, it's gonna, in my case, in my opinion, it's gonna turn out totally, completely different. So I choose the hard worker always. Preferably with open head, with growth mindset.
Smart guy.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be smart. just no, hard worker that can question, you know, some of his beliefs. I think if you know how to question your own beliefs sometimes, you know, that everybody's telling you and your parents were telling you maybe that you're not enough, that you're not capable of achieving big medals, that you're like, oh, wait, is this my belief or it's just someone else gave me this, you know? I don't need to believe that I'm not good enough, you know?
Enough opportunities for you?
I think I had opportunities. I just wish maybe I would have. I had a lot of coaches. I had a lot of different approaches, which helped me grow my judo a lot. But I really hope that someone would tell me from the beginning, maybe that you need to analyze your judo step by step, you know, because we were looking at the whole picture a lot of the times. Okay, he's right, he's left, he does uchimata, how we defend uchimata, but we didn't go. At the end of my career, I started going, okay, why am I standing like right? Why am I standing like left? Why I have my elbow up now? Why I don't put the elbow down?
So
you know,
self-analysis.
Yeah, self-analysis, but into details. You know, really details, because you get these patterns that you develop through your career. Sometimes, after some injuries or after some losses, you change the patterns, and you're not even aware that you change the patterns. You know. And I think you can recognize that you change when you do this deep analysis, you know. And I think if I would have this after, for example, Olympics, I would have 2 years then to change, you know. So I think if I would have someone to tell me that thing and be with me at that time, just to point me a bit, I think it could make a big difference. My favorite coach was the Brazilian. I had one Brazilian, Pedro Guades. He was my favorite coach because he was leading by example, you know. Everything that he told me, everything that he expected from me, he did himself, you know.
Yeah.
And
so he was part of the training there.
He was not. Yeah, if I needed to, he always showed me even the principles and everything. But he was living his life as a real athlete. As you know, he was not hiding. You felt his charisma differently, you know. And even after 10 years now, 15 years now, I still appreciate he still didn't change. He's still vulnerable. He knows how to be vulnerable. He still knows how to be man. He still trains. He still eats healthy, you know. and it's not something that he forced, and I think this is what I respected
That's good.
a lot. Yeah.
How was Mihael as a kid?